We have just gotten reports that a beloved Met will most likely be traded this offseason. Plus, free agent Japanese pitcher Roki Sasaki has been posted onto free agent boards officially today. His agent got to speak today, and we will be discussing where the Mets stand in the sweepstakes for him. Plus, speaking of pitching, we have just met with another free agent starting pitcher today, and we will get into who that is and what it means for our pitching staff. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this morning edition of Mets Digest with your host, Michael DeAngelo. As you see on the screen, before I get started, I gotta ask that you guys please subscribe down below. We are at a little over wow, that was way off. 3.14K subscribers. We already hit our goal for 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. With that, I promise I will have something special for you guys coming soon that I will announce. But for now, make sure you guys subscribe down below. This is your one-stop shop for everything Mets baseball, trade rumors, free agency rumors, roster updates, all things Mets news right here. Me and Flobo boys killing it so far this offseason. And we're safe to say we're in a pretty good rhythm with getting these videos out to you guys. But let's get started here. Now, I've talked in previous videos about the possibility of our right fielder, Starling Marte, getting traded this offseason. Now, with the Juan Soto signing being official today, as he did pass his physical, it is now a growing chance that Starling Marte will be traded this offseason. It's been put in the projected lineups that, he could possibly be a DH, but, with his play style and his lack of power at this age, it's kind of hard for him to keep up with a DH, especially with the position being easily replaceable and easily findable with guys with more power than a guy like him. But this was a report from Pat Ragazzo of Sports Illustrated. He said the Mets are open to trading veteran outfielder Starling Marte in exchange for relief help and have already talked to a number of teams about potential deals, as sources told the Mets on Sports Illustrated. In order to move Marte, the Mets would have to pay down a portion of the slugger's salary, which they are willing to do so. Now, if you guys are wondering, Starling Marte is owed about a little over $20 million after this upcoming season, and then he will be a free agent following this season. So if the Mets are willing to pay down a little, maybe around half or 3/4 full of his salary, they could get a pretty decent return on possibly some relief help, like Pat Ragazzo said. I will bring up his stats right now. As you can see, it was a pretty lackluster season for Starling Marte. He was dealing a lot with injuries, especially in the shoulder and in the groin the season before that. So it was kind of hard for him to sort of get into rhythm, to be that type of impactful player that he was on that 2022 playoff team, where he kind of hit in the 2-hole the whole year and was pretty much the glue to that offense. But he's 36 years old now, and he's definitely on the decline of his career. And it's just looking like that, it is his time to depart from the Mets. It really is sad to see, because this guy was such a huge part of our team, and with the amount of great moments that he provided for us, nothing but love to Starling Marte. Hopefully we can find a trade partner for him. My boy NYM News just reported that that the Royals are a team that have come up in talks, especially that they have a plethora of young pitchers, especially in the bullpen and in the minor leagues. That could definitely be a good target to look for team-wise, because we definitely need relief help. Like Pat Ragazzo said, like we all agree, we definitely need more relief help. And the Royals would be a good target as well. And, you can trade a guy like this to small market teams, because they only have to be committed to him for a year. He can come in and just be that veteran guy in a young clubhouse. And, if with a rich team like us, we're willing to take on most of his salary for this upcoming season. But what this means now is that our DH spot is pretty much going to be wide open. If a trade were to happen with Starling Marte, of course, this is all theoretical. There could be issues to where we don't end up trading him, but let's just say it gets done, right? Our DH spot is now pretty much wide open. Mark Vientos, of course, is a nominee if, we were to go out and get another corner infielder. Ronnie Mauricio, who you guys know I am extremely high on. And by the way, for those of you telling me in the comment section, oh, he's not starting baseball activities yet. We just got a report from David Stearns the other day that he has begun baseball activities. So it is most likely that we will see him during spring training. And he will prove all to you guys that he is a generational talent in this organization. And I think a DH, especially for his first year coming back from a torn Achilles or a torn ACL, I forgot which one or the other, I think that's a perfect opportunity for him. The fact that he doesn't have to go out there and play in the field, especially since he got injured in the field and not in the batter's box, I think that could be a spot that he could possibly take for this upcoming season. A guy that is a switch hitter, so it's not like you have to platoon him with another possible DH. He can be that full-time DH all year long. I think Ronnie Mauricio could easily win that job during spring training. Now, JD Martinez is a free agent, so he's not here anymore. So, and I doubt they even bring him back. So, the DH spot is wide open. They could go out and get a free agent to fill that spot, or use one of their young prospects. Like I said, Ronnie Mauricio, of course. And of course, there's guys down there who are big bats like Ryan Clifford, as well as a name to mention. But we'll see what happens. Moving on from that, shifting over to the pitching staff now. Now, they're pretty much with with Max Fried off the board now, going to the Yankees. The top two pitchers in the free agent market now considered to be right-handers, which is Corbin Burnes and Japanese 23-year-old pitcher Roki Sasaki. He has officially been posted onto international boards, and teams would have to use their international pool money to sign him to a contract. Now, since he is so young and he's leaving the Japanese Baseball League very early in his career to come over here to the major leagues, it is now certain that he has to sign a league minimum contract for around, I'm guessing, 4 to 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years. I'm not entirely sure on the details. I just know that it has to be a league minimum salary. He can't sign a Yoshibo Yamamoto type of contract. He can't sign a Kodai Senga type of contract right now. He has to take the league minimum right now since he's leaving the Japanese Baseball League so early. Now, what we know from his agent is that it's going to take a little bit for him to sign. Now, this was what David Stearns had to say about him, is that we're going to give it our very best shot. It's very difficult in these processes to truly understand what a player's preference is, and it isn't a normal free agent recruitment process. So we're going to submit our presentation and materials just like everyone else, and we'll wait for his camp's feedback. Now, what we know right now is that it's going to take him a little bit to sign his deal. And if we had to take a guess, it would probably be around January, middle January, and that's not even a guess. His agent did speak this morning on Roki, and he said basically that he's going to meet with some teams next week and then fly back home to Japan for the holidays, be out there for a couple of weeks, and then fly back to, I'm assuming, Texas again, where the winter meetings are taking place. And so it's going to take a while for a pitcher like this to develop into his contract. We don't know. We've heard different things about him possibly preferring the West Coast over the East Coast, and of course his agent saying that he might prefer a small market team where media isn't such a big factor during a team season. He highlighted that the Japanese media over there was very hard on him during last season, and especially during the WBC where the Team Japan did win. So that put a lot of pressure on him. So that could factor into him maybe not choosing a team like the New York Mets mainly because of, of we're the media capital of the world. And, media is always breathing down everyone's throats, during after every single game. And it wouldn't be much better over there with the Dodgers as well. So that kind of puts teams like the Padres, the Mariners, maybe the Orioles, maybe the Reds. I wouldn't say the Red Sox, but teams like that would kind of maybe be the front runners. But we just did hear from an insider, or excuse me, that's the wrong page. That Roki Sasaki's agency is very high on Jeremy Hefner's ability to develop pitching. That was Jim Bowden of CBS. He's a CBS sports reporter, as well as with MLB Network. Sasaki is said to be valuing endorsement opportunities, winning and pitching development as he decides which team to play for. Now, of course, if he's going to want those endorsements, he's going to have to... this would be the absolute best place for him, especially with Kodai Senga on the team right now. It does play a little bit of an advantage. Now, the three front runners being Dodgers, Padres, and Mets all have Japanese presence there that Roki Sasaki has had past relationships with. The Dodgers being with Shohei Ohtani, Yoshiro Yamamoto, and then the Padres being with Yu Darvish and Yuki Matsui. Sorry, I just had to double check myself to make sure I was saying the correct name. But even from that, what we know is his agent is kind of leaving everything wide open. He's not closing any. He's gonna give every team an opportunity to try and sign this guy. And of course, now that he's reported to be interested in small market teams, that's going to definitely attract those mid market teams to try and come and sign him. Now, like I said before, it's going to have to be a league minimum contract, which attracts those small market teams even more. And, his agent did hammer into his head that, he's going to be making his money later on in his career and that you should be focusing on a short-term deal right now and worry about the big money later. And hence why he's looking for those endorsements as well, because he's going to have to find some other way to get his funds besides a major league salary. But pivoting to more pitching. Now, that was a little bit of a rhyme, but pivoting towards another free agent, the Mets did meet with a free agent right-handed pitcher from the Boston Red Sox last season, and that is Nick Pivetta. Now, I know that's a very underwhelming name, considering that he gives up a lot of home runs last year. You see that at 28. But hey, 31 years old. He's really good at eating innings. He gives you quality innings out there. I'm pretty sure his record was around 7-14, which isn't the best. But look, David Stearns, we know that he really likes this strategy of signing these mid-major pitchers to these short-term deals and relying on Jeremy Hefner and the rest of the pitching coaching staff to sort of develop them into quality players for a playoff contending team. Now, Nick Pivetta may be the next victim to that. As we've seen before now, we signed guys like Frankie Montas to a $36 million contract who had almost close to a 5 ERA last year. We've seen guys him sign like Sean Manaea and Luis Severino, who were coming off of pretty mediocre years as well before that. And it looks like he might be carrying on that strategy. Clay Holmes as well is officially signed now. And could it work again? We're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, it sucks to see on paper because it's really underwhelming to see that we're looking to compete for a World Series this year, and then when you look at that starting rotation, you're just like, oh god, like what is going to be happening with this? Kodai Senga can't do it all in that 5-man rotation, but I mean, if him and Jeremy Hefner really have this key to this lock that they know how to develop these misfit pitchers who are just kind of mid and just developing them into these quality starters for a team that can push to the playoffs, I mean, so be it. We see now the rotation is looking to the likes of Kodai Senga, David Peterson, Clay Holmes, Paul Blackburn, and Frankie Montas. And, Nick Pivetta is another starting pitcher. So who knows what David Stearns looking to do here? Maybe he's looking to sign some of these starters as bullpen arms, and he's looking to have sort of like long bullpen games where these starters come in out of the bullpen and come and pitch like 4 or 5 innings of relief at a time. I mean, it's a pretty interesting strategy to say the least, but we don't, we're still really looking for that big free agent pitcher signing. We've heard, little murmurs that they would be in on Corbin Burns, Max Fried as well, who ended up walking away to the Yankees on an 8-year contract. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It is very interesting, and hopefully, some good reports will come out later on regarding the pitching staff. But that is all I have for you guys here today on Mets Digest. Make sure you guys subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, y'all.